who raises a hand against us is not immune from us. We will pursue him, find him, and neutralize him.
Well, back home, a top national security official became the first senior administration member to quit over the war. Joe Kent is his name. He headed the National Counterterrorism Center. Quoting now from his letter to the president, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. Joe Kent is a former Army Green Beret whose wife was killed in the Syrian civil war. In the past, he's made news for amplifying conspiracy theories about January 6th. He's also had to disavow past interactions with a Nazi sympathizer and a Holocaust denier. His wife, a naval officer, was killed by a suicide bomber in Syria in 2019. For his part, the president today said, and I'm quoting him here, "I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security." He also offered several updates on the war.
We had to do a little excursion, if you don't mind. A little excursion to take care of nuclear weaponry in the hands of maniacs. But other than that, in a couple of weeks, and won't be much longer, it's moving along fast. We're way ahead of schedule. Did you know that, Mr. Speaker? I'm trying to save a lot of money by being ahead of schedule. We're way ahead of schedule.
The president connecting the current operation to Iran's nuclear program, which he also claims to have obliterated last summer. Listening to some of his statements, though, on the subject recently, including today, he appears to be blurring the distinction between then and now.
We're doing very, very well. Iran, knocking the hell out of them, and you have to do that. We can't let them have a nuclear weapon. They were 2 weeks away, in my opinion, 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. If those beautiful, magnificent machines, those B-2 bombers, if they didn't do their job 7 or 8 months ago, they would have had a nuclear weapon, and there would have been no talking to them, no talking at all.
The president today, again, it sounds like he's blurring last summer's operation against Iran's nuclear program with current fighting. Not the first time. He did it yesterday while also invoking the specter of World War III.
They're sending thousands of missiles into countries that didn't expect to be in the war because they wanted to take over the Middle East. If I didn't decimate, I call it their nuclear dust, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month after that bombing took place. And they would have used it on first Israel and then the Middle East. Had we not done this, you would have had a nuclear war that would have evolved into World War III. And more important, this is a war that there would have been nothing left.
In any case, as CENTCOM's bombing announcement tonight makes clear, the problem now is missiles, drones, and naval mines, and the threat they pose to shipping in the Gulf, especially the Strait of Hormuz. Today, the president acknowledged that our European allies want no part in the fight, despite, he says, acknowledging the threat.
All of the NATO allies agreed with us, but they don't want to, despite the fact that we help them so much, we have thousands of soldiers in different countries all over the world. And they don't want to help us, which is amazing. I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake. And I've long said that, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us. So this was a great test because we don't need them, but they should have been there.
Well, that answer, as you might imagine, prompted this question, namely what he intended to do about it.
Are you rethinking the United States' relationship with NATO possibly getting out?
Well, I'm disappointed in NATO that we spend trillions of dollars on NATO. Think of it, trillions over the years, many trillions of dollars. It's one of the reasons we have deficits and we help other countries. And when they don't help us, it's certainly something that we should think about. I don't need Congress for that decision. As you probably know, I can make that decision myself.
And it all comes as President Trump is moving American troops closer to being able to actually go into Iran. Tonight, a U.S. warship believed to be carrying thousands of Marines is making its way to the region. We've got new video of the ship. It is heading towards the Middle East. You see it there. President Trump was asked today if he's concerned that a ground operation could result in a large number of American deaths. And this is what he said.
The Iranian regime has told Sky News, if you put boots on the ground in Iran, it will be another Vietnam. Are you afraid of that?
No, I'm really not afraid of anything.
Trump claiming he's not afraid of anything just hours after a major defection from his own team. His director of the Counterterrorism Center, a retired Green Beret, longtime supporter of President Trump's, today quit. Joe Kent is his name, and he resigned. He said, I've got his letter here. It's actually worth reading. It says, I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. Obviously, it's a damning statement coming from a person in his position, and it has Trump and his administration in damage control mode tonight. Listen to Trump now defending again his decision to go to war.
We have to put out this cancer. It's a cancer. We had to take that operation, and we did. I just do want to say that the war is proceeding very, very strongly. And we're doing very, very well. They were 2 weeks away, in my opinion, 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon.
His opinion, not, of course, the assessment of U.S. intelligence. It was just about 9 months ago, though, that Trump had claimed that Iran's nuclear facilities were obliterated, the word that he's now using to describe the Iranian Navy. So now he's saying they were 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. Obviously, I know we keep bringing this up, but it's worth pointing it out, right? Those two things don't add up. And Kent's comments obviously weigh in on this. Trump in the White House now trying to cast Kent, though, as somebody who no longer was in the know.
I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well.
Of course, if he thought he was weak on security, why did he name him as his counterterror chief? That's one question. The other reality, given what Trump just said, though, is this. Trump does know Kent. In 2022, he took credit for launching Kent's political career. He met him for the first time back in 2019 during the dignified transfer of Kent's wife, who died in a suicide bombing in Syria. Breaking news about the intelligence official who just defected from the Trump administration over the war with Iran. National Counterterrorism Center Director Joe Kent meeting with Vice President Vance and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard yesterday. That's a day before his very public resignation, where he explained his opposition to the war. Elena Treen broke this reporting and is out front from the White House. And Elena, what more can you tell us, okay, about this meeting? I mean, because this is really important. There's been a lot of discussion about Vance's role and his standing here. The meeting that Ken had with Vance and Gabbard.
Yeah, I think you make an excellent point, Aaron, which is that the reason this is also so notable is because Kent, Vance, and Gabbard, all three of them are known for their anti-interventionist views and have, particularly Vance and Gabbard have previously shown restraint when it comes to getting involved in foreign conflicts, particularly in the Middle East. But what I'm told, this is also reporting with our colleague Caitlin Collins, we're told essentially that this meeting came yesterday at the White House, of course, before Kent went public with his letter of resignation, and he essentially laid out his reasonings, the same ones we saw today in his letter, for why he was resigning. This idea, essentially, that he believes he could not, in good faith, continue in his role, beneath Gabbard within the National Intelligence Center to move forward with this because he believes that there was not an imminent threat posed by Iran before the U.S. went forward with these strikes. And it's something we've seen, of course, many officials try to push back on today. We've seen a number of White House officials and Trump administration officials come out arguing that Kent was already sidelined, that they had removed him from Iran planning. But this is a huge move. And I'd remind our viewers that Kent was someone who was appointed by the president himself. Just 13 months ago, the president was singing his praises, noting that he was a former Green Beret. And so it's quite a striking difference. But again, very notable given that Vance and Gabbard have also in the past shown, more restraint with wanting to go into foreign wars. And one other quick thing is I am told that Vance did tell Kent to please speak with the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, before submitting that resignation. I'm told that he did ultimately do that, but of course he did move forward with it and announced it today.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Elena, and so much new reporting from you and the entire team on this. And it is significant when you think the context of J.D. Vance and his very low profile, to say the least, on this war. Out front now, Democratic Congressman Pat Ryan. He's on the House Armed Services Committee, served 2 combat tours in Iraq with the U.S. Army. Congressman, I appreciate your time. All right, there's a lot of still on Strait of Hormuz there. So all of the